Thanks so much for listening to No Lions Here with me, Big Panda. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to No Lions Here. My name is Big Panda, and I'm a recovering sex addict. Before we jump into today's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor for the show and a partner of the podcast, and that is Begin Again Institute out in Boulder, Colorado. Their information is going to be in the description below. If you or anyone you love is suffering from sex or porn addiction, definitely go check them out. Again, they were the running start that I needed in my own recovery, and I just really believe in what they're doing out there. So definitely go and check them out. Again, great people, amazing work that they're doing. So definitely go check them out. Yeah. So man, it looks, if you're watching this on YouTube or even Spotify, you'll notice that like the scene around me has changed yet again from the last time. I've got a lot to cover in this episode, and I don't know. I'll just be honest. I'm in a weird spot right now, guys. I got fired from IRC last week. Now, so there's still energy around, the firing and being let go. It hurt me a lot actually. I'm still very confused and a little baffled by everything. Now, I will say that in the last episode, I was sharing with you guys around like, hey, I got this other part-time job lined up down here that I start in January at the mental health center. And, I was really torn. I was really torn on kind of what to do. What do I do? Do I work, both part-time jobs, kind of really questioning just like where I was at with things and, what I was going to do. Because, again, I believe the plan is to, the plan was to just go part-time somewhere. But again, right, like I shared this in the last episode, was like, I struggle with like having that edge in which to take action with. And, this is something that like I've been praying about, writing letters to God, my higher power, and really asking for guidance along the way. And, it's funny because like, they talk about the promises. I spent a lot of time again in prayer, and just asking for guidance for, what to do. What do I do? And when we ask, we'll receive. So praying. Last Monday, it was actually a week ago today. There was a situation that arose at work, and I really want to be careful with how I go about talking about the situation. Now, obviously, this is my platform. This is, my space to share my truths and to share where I'm at. Now, also, this is not a platform for bashing or, talking, any kind of crap on anybody, man. Like that's not where I want to be, one, as a human being, just in general. I do have some resentments, just, yeah, I'll own that. I'll say that I got some resentments, and just, how everything went down. So again, right, like, so it was funny because last week I actually wanted to record. So I've been unemployed now for 6 days, and I really wanted to record last week. The firing went down on Tuesday last week. So basically Monday we had an episode, a situation at work that kind of I stood my ground on, and that's something that I'm actually kind of proud of myself for doing. Is I did not feel like I was wrong in this situation. I felt like I could have gone about the situation in a better way. I'll own that. Still to this day, even with 6 days passing, I mean, I've had a lot of conversations about this. I have a program. I have a program that I have to run everything through. And, guys, I pride myself on being the person that, whether that be in front of people or behind closed doors, like I pride myself on being this person that, like, guys, if I'm wrong, like I will be the first to raise my hand, eat my words, and to take accountability 100%. Again, if you know me, that's it. Now, I'm not gonna be walked over. I'm not going to be talked down upon. I'm not going to be treated poorly. Those are things that I'm not going to put up with. And so, this situation, again, while I believe I could have gone about things in a different way, I don't believe that the decisions that I made were wrong. And, I'll stick by that. And so I'll say there was a difference on views. And I believe there were some other things involved too that were kind of brought up. But again, I wanted to record last week, but I was talking to my sponsor, Jeff, and he was like, Alex, I think that your energy is too much around the situation. And again, I want to be very mindful with going about this. I don't want to, throw shade. I don't want to, I actually I want to be an adult in the situation. I want to be an adult, and I don't want to play games. I don't want to be a child. I don't want to come at this from like my inner adolescent talking, because if I let my inner adolescent take the mic right now, it probably wouldn't be very pretty. But again, those things are to be kept for the time being anyway. Those things are to be kept between me and my program friends. Because, guys, I come on here and I want to be as honest and as open as I possibly can be on this. That's the whole point of this platform. And so, again, I don't want to, bash anybody. Because, again, if I let my inner adolescent take over right now and give them the mic, then, that would be, there'd be some hurt that comes out of him, because we're still hurting. We're still trying to kind of pick up the pieces, and I'm really grateful though, right? So I was talking to a buddy about this the other day, and we talk a lot in the program around spiritual awakening, and I truly fully believe that I'm kind of living within that spiritual awakening at the moment. It's not they always say oh, well, hey, go work the 12 steps, right? And you'll find this spiritual awakening. Well, in my experience, right, in working the steps alone isn't going to necessarily bring about that. And if you look in the big book, there's an little asterisk next to a spiritual awakening. And me and my sponsor, Jeff, were talking about this recently, is that so the spiritual awakening, if you look at the definition of it, is it's a change in behavior. A change in behavior. Okay. That gives us a kind of a different light. Now, again, I believe that recovery is puzzle pieces, right? It's going to meetings, it's working the 12 steps, it's being of service, it's having a relationship with my higher power. It's, all these different things, and they all kind of come together to create this change in us, right? This spiritual awakening, this change within us. And it's really interesting because here I am, right? I'm unemployed. I don't start this new job until January 5th. And here I am going yeah, I'm hurt. I'm hurt over the firing, 100%. Still kind of sifting through that. And I'm also really excited for the future and what's to come, because I believe that this is of God. This is of my higher power, right? The reason that, it's Monday morning, right? And not at work. I'm at home. I'm actually, I'm in, the spare bedroom that we just cleaned out this weekend, and I built a table, and, I'm down at the girlfriend's house, because let me say this out loud, I live here now. It's interesting. I don't say that out loud. I haven't said that out loud all that much, but with the situation, so how things went down on Monday within this, I'll call it a conversation that I had. Again, I need to be careful here. I had a conversation with my higher ups, and in that conversation, there were some things, I believe, spiritually, that were shown to me. Yeah. So there were some things that were shown to me. I'll keep it at that. And I believe that it was God showing me, hey man, because I've been questioning things, and in this conversation that I had on Monday, again, there were things that were shown to me things were shown to me in a light of, okay, it really made me question and say, okay, God, like, I do believe that this is you. And because I remember, so the conversation went down Monday, and I left work just hurting, not sure where to turn, so I immediately like leaned on my people, man, and everybody that I talked to again was like, man, you were, Alex, you're clean in this. And also, Alex, like, I think that you should see this as like the writing on the wall. And I was like, I hear you. People are like, are you going to go into work tomorrow? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, I wouldn't if I were you. And I was like, well, at a certain point, right, regardless of where I'm at, how I feel, and like, again, seeing this as like, okay, I'm gearing up, right? I'm gonna be putting in my resignation. At a certain point in time, right, it stops becoming about me, and it becomes about the clients that were there that I was serving. Yeah. There was a heated conversation, a disagreement on views. And also, too, at a certain point in time, right? Like, again, it's not about me, it's about the message. I had 40 plus people in the treatment center that were all hurting and that needed love and support. And so that's why I went in the next day, because again, I want to show up for them. And regardless of kind of where I'm at personally, I always prided myself on trying not to let the personal side of things come in and affect, how I showed up for the clients. Because when I was there, when I was on site with the clients, like, it was about the clients, right? It wasn't about me. And people are like, I'm surprised you're even in today. Well, because again, I needed to show up. Because that's what we do in recovery, right? Is I get up and I show up. I suit up to the best of my ability, and then I show up. And that's what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to put my best foot forward, but that Monday night, I'm having all these conversations, having really good conversations. Yeah, I even had a buddy that said, man, I think they're getting ready to fire you, Alex. And I said, oh, okay, we'll see. But, it's funny because, like, this is where, like, the spiritual awakening, the change behavior, right? However you want to look at it, this is where, it's funny. I as I'm talking about this now, like, there's even, man, there's feelings that are still there. And if I'm being honest, within the moment, where I can feel it, it's coming up. And like, I don't know what it is, right? I don't know if it's the hurt still. I don't know if it's gratitude for my higher power, for just kind of like where I'm at. This is, I don't know. So so I've had these conversations on Monday, and again, I'm seeing the writing on the wall, and it's funny though, right? Because I said, God, okay, I said, God, this is you. This is you showing me, like, this is you helping me. This is you showing me what I need to do. And if I look back at my patterns in life, I can be very stubborn, right? Again, I lack this like hard edge in which to take action, and it's those spiritual 2x4s to the head that what I need, right? There was the biggest one to date, other than maybe this one, was like smack that I needed to get me into recovery, right? That got me into recovery back in January 2021. So, it's not lost on me. I know my pattern. There's times where, like, I need more pain. And oftentimes, right, like, that's what's a big motivator for people is pain, right? It pushes us into this desperation mode, and it moves us, right? We get so stuck. I do, right? I'll keep it to me, right? I get so stuck, right? Analysis paralysis. I get stuck in, I don't know what to do. What's the right move? Oh God, I'm gonna make the wrong choice. I'm gonna, oh my gosh, right? That, like, I need these shakeups. And so I'm sitting there Monday night, and I'm going, okay, God, I believe this is you, God. Now I said, and this is, I laugh at this, as I said, God, I believe this. I believe and know that this is you. God, you know me, and I'm going to ask for more here. I'm going to ask, I need to know that this is of you. I need to know, because again, I'm torn right now. One person was like, "Go in, Alex, and put your resignation in the morning," and I said, "I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. Let's meet up later this week, and let's help me put together a resignation letter." And he said, "Okay, I will." But I said, "God, I need more. I need more data here. I need more data, God." And so, terrible sleep, really bad sleep, man. And I got up the next morning and, despite everything inside of me just saying, don't do this, don't go into work, just call off, Alex. It'll be okay, man. Like, I said, nah, you know what? I'm going to go into work. I'm going to go into work. I got things I got to do, right? There's people there that I need to show up for. And so I go into work and about 9 o'clock, and I'm talking to some coworkers. There's some coworkers that I trust and love, and kind of told them where I was at in the situation and what had happened. Again, was met with support and love, which felt really, really good. And so it's like, okay, let's just try to keep best foot forward again, right? So about 9 o'clock, my boss calls me into her office, and she's like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not good. Here's why." Laid it all out, right? Laid it all out, right? Had time to sleep on it, think about it, talk about it. Stood on with where I was at. I stood on it still. I stood on what I did. And, there to them, therein lied the problem. Again, difference of opinions. That's what I'm going to call it. Again, it's my side, right? And yeah, I got the papers. They said, yeah, you're terminated. You were terminated immediately effective. Now, I should have known. I went into that meeting, and then our HR lady was sitting in the office. So I kind of had a feeling when I walked in, like, oh, she's typically not in these things. So, yeah. So then they said, okay, I said, what's the next moves? They said, all right, just, our HR lady's going to watch you clean out your desk. I said, okay, that's it. Then that's it. So cleaned up my desk. Last Tuesday morning, and clean things out, man. And yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm at, So again, right? God showed up, despite the hurt, despite the just kind of this like in kind of limbo right now. Despite like the excitement, right? There's still like, hey, God showed up, right? And that's where like the exciting part of this comes into play is like, I know that this is of God. And so therefore, like, this is God. So therefore, like, God's got a plan, right? That door closed, but I needed that door to close. And I was incapable of closing that door on my own. So God doing for me what I cannot do for myself. Now, I need that, right? Now, God doesn't say, or the program doesn't say, I always feel a little side note here. I always feel like I need to like not say God as much. I feel like I need to like that's gonna turn listeners away if I'm constantly talking about God and God and God. And so in there you can see that in real time, right? It was God tells us. Well, let me throw in the program too. The program also tells us that this thing it's not going to be without pain, right? The things that we're going to be asked to do by our higher power, the program, needing to make decisions and take risks, like it's not going to be without pain. It's not going to be painless. Not that I thought that it was going to be painless at all, but like you hope that it's not. But yeah, so, but again, what's our biggest motivator? Pain. Pain is our biggest motivator. Pain gets us to move. Pain, when I'm stuck, right? Pain moves me, and I got to keep that in mind, right? Sure, I could sit here and I could cuss God out, right? I could cuss them out, which I've done plenty of times in my head. By the way, over those last 7 days, man, I've been on this kind of this roller coaster. Things have really, really leveled out for me. It's still there though, the ups and the downs, the energy, right? But like, I could sit here and I could cuss at God and say, God, what the heck? Like, what are you doing? What's that gonna do? It's not gonna do anything. And plus, like, this is for my own good, right? So talking about like that spiritual awakening, that change in behavior is, I'm sitting here going, okay, something really bad just kind of happened, right? I got fired right before Christmas. One of the reasons why I wasn't ready to put my resignation in was because I was like, I can't go a month without a paycheck. And so, I'm fired right before Christmas. And yet I'm sitting here going, this is a blessing. This is a blessing. I full-heartedly believe that. Now, multiple things can be true in this. This is a blessing. And I'm also hurt and stunned and bewildered and confused and baffled and also just kind of in this like limbo area. Like both of these things are very true. I'm really seeing it right now. Beanie took the firing pretty hard. And it was one of those things where I had to tell her like, hey, those first few days, it was kind of funny because like the first few days, she was very, very anxious. Not with me. Um, the problems did not lie with me. Um, the problems for her were within the situation, right? She fully supported me, and it was proud of me. It's just the situation, right? She was angry at them, and anxious around like, oh man, you're getting ready to move in, and now you don't have a job. I laugh because like there is some comedy in this for sure, right? Like the sense of humor. And maybe I'm deflecting, but again, it's all of these things are true, right? Like the comedy within this, the fear, the unknowns, the excitement, right? It's all involved in this. And I told her, I said, hey, look, Beanie, here's the deal, Beanie, is like, I believe that this is of God. And she believes that too. She believes that too. Now, I don't want to go too much into, I don't want to go too much into what her stuff is, but I'm the one that has the program with God, right? She believes in God. She has a relationship, and I have my own relationship, and in those moments, right? Like she's a planner, she's an organizer, she wants to, and so like basically me saying like, hey, this is of God and this is a good thing, like really wasn't enough. And again, I'm not talking any kind of crap on that, right? Like that's where she was. And I had to tell her, I said, hey, look, babe, like I have enough faith for both of us right now. What I need from you is I need for you to believe in the faith that I have. And that will be good enough. And she said, okay, I can do that. But it was heavy, man, having to deal with not only my own thoughts and feelings around this, but then like also having to deal with hers because I want to be there for her too, It got heavy within that first couple days. For sure. It got very heavy, the weight of things. And I'm so grateful for my program and the people that I have around me, right? Like if you're struggling and things are heavy for you right now, like invest in your program, invest in your people, right? Invest in your connections. Like my connections are what have gotten me through where I'm at right now. 100% my connection to my higher power, my connection to the people around me, my sponsor, all my people are in on the loop on this. My phone was just, I was on the phone just pretty constantly for the first 4 or 5 days of this thing. I couldn't simply just sit and isolate and be quiet. Like I had to invest. I had to get into my connections, and thank God, like I've got these relationships that I've spent time in. That it was difficult to get with my people, and so again, right? Like, hey, if you're struggling right now, go get into your community. Go get into your community, right? Connection is everything through this. Go connect, man. Like, again, that is what has kind of saved me through this, and I'm just so grateful that like I have these people in my life, and you can too, right? You totally can have these people in your life. It's hey, go invest. Where are you at? Go invest. Because things got really heavy there. And if I didn't have people to bounce these things off of, right? So I have my relationship, right? I got Beanie, and that relationship is great, right? And right now, right, like we're talking, right? Don't get me wrong. She's in on this, and I also, there were times where like, man, I couldn't put it all on her. I needed somebody else. I needed Jeff. I needed John. I needed Ricky. I needed my people that I could really put these things on. And so like that's like what's really, really helped me. Now, the other part of this is like, okay, so I got let go right before Christmas, right? No, I got maybe half of a paycheck coming in. Inner adolescent Alex, hey man, I got us. I got us, Alex. I got us, little Alex. Like, it's okay, man. I see you. I see he's chomping at the bit here. He wants to. These younger parts of me really want to come out right now. They want to come out, right? They're hurting and they really want to come out. And so instead, right, I'm gonna talk to him for a second. Like, hey, little Alex, man, like, I got us. It's okay. I'm the adult here. I hear you, right? Your feelings are valid. And I want to let you know that, like, I'm going to take care of us. Like, you're safe. You're safe. I got us. I'm here. I'm going to take care of us. Thank you for showing me the feelings and thank you for wanting to step up. I do really appreciate it. And I see you and I hear you. And I got us. I got us, buddy. We'll talk later. Thank you again for showing yourself to me. And thank you for wanting to protect me. I really do appreciate that. And I got us, though. I got us. Thank you. Thank you. Hey guys, I just want to take a minute to share something deeply personal and transformative in my journey of recovery. I've been where you might be right now, struggling with the weight of addiction and feeling lost. But there's a place that offered me a new beginning, a place I truly believe in. It's called Begin Again Institute. At Begin Again, they understand the deep-rooted trauma behind addiction. Their 14-day intensive program for men tackles the neurobiological aspects of addiction head-on. It's not just about breaking a habit. It's about understanding and healing the underlying trauma that formed it in the first place. And for those who have been impacted by betrayal, Begin Again extends care to partners of addicts too. Their partner support program is offered at no additional cost to the family and runs alongside the men's intensive. This program helps participants gain an understanding of the trauma they've experienced and sets them on their own path to healing. If you or someone you love are grappling with sexual addiction, pornography addiction, or intimacy issues, Begin Again Institute can be that pivotal step towards recovery and a new lease on life. Remember, you can't go back and change the past, but it's never too late to begin again. To learn more about their life-changing program, visit beginagaininstitute.com or call 720-776-9076 to reserve your spot in the next 2-week intensive. I promise, it'll be the best call that you ever make for yourself. Stay strong, keep fighting, and keep tuning in to No Lions Here for more conversations about recovery, resilience, and hope. Kind of forgot where I was going with that. So I got some people that are going to loan me, they're lending me money to help just kind of get me through, right? So I've got this other job lined up. I start January 5th. I went last week and got fingerprinted and filled out paperwork and all this good stuff, right? But I got some people that are lending me money that are going to help me out so that I can essentially take off for the rest of the month of December, which is going to challenge me at 100%. I'm 6 days in, and it was funny. I was on the couch this morning. The move in with Beanie wasn't supposed to be official until I think next week, actually. So in 1 week, like, that was like the official, like, hey, we're really gonna like move things down, and I'm gonna bring the TV down and the dog down and the clothes and so at this point in time, it's like, well, let's we can actually move this up, right? Like, let me come down. Let me help out. That's the other thing too, is like I've been getting ready. Yesterday it was cool. I got to play stepdad, right? My first day, kind of like being here with Beanie at work and me hanging out with her daughter. And like, it was cool, man. Like it was Sunday. It was chill, right? Like, we didn't have her cereal. So like, I got to like, she was like, I'm hungry. And I was like, all right, what do you want to eat? I was like, we got eggs. And she was like, yeah, scrambled eggs. How many? 2? All right, I got you. So I got to like make her breakfast. And then I made her lunch, and like we watched the Polar Express, and then we went outside, and like it was just like, it was cool. It was cool. And then like this morning, I got up and again, Beanie's got to work today, so I got to take her daughter to school, right? Again, made her breakfast, take her to school. I'll go pick her up this afternoon. Like, I'm grateful that like I get to do these things. And like, so again, I said this earlier on in the episode, is like, I live here now. Like, I live here. I brought the TV down. My big TV's hanging up out there. I brought half my closet down. It's funny where, I used to pack a bag to come down here. Now I'm packing a bag. So like tomorrow I got to go back up north, and I got to go back up north because I'm playing hockey Tuesday night and Wednesday night. So I'm going to be up north Tuesday, staying at my mom's on Tuesday night, and then doing some stuff up there on Wednesday, and then coming back down after my game on Wednesday. And, it's funny. So like, I went from packing a bag to come down here to now I'm packing a bag to go to my mom's house. I'm packing a bag to go up there. But, here, another kind of a blessing, something to be excited about around this is like, okay, well, y'all just bumped my timeline up for moving in with the girlfriend. So now instead of like trying to fit this all in like maybe a 2-day span of like, okay, hey, like, cause I took some time off next week, like I had a couple vacation days that I was going to use, and that's what I was going to use to, to move some of this stuff. Now it's like, okay, I'm not pressed. I'm not pressed for time. I don't start with the state down here until January 5th. And so it's like, okay, cool. So like I can kind of take my time a little bit here. I'm in no rush. I can take my time. Let me move my stuff. The timeline got moved up, so I get to actually move in sooner, which means I get to start contributing and helping more. And again, like I can kind of like take this easy a little bit. And plus, I don't have a whole lot that I'm moving. And so, it's just it's a little bit more lax now. Now, what I struggle with in this is that, right, that structure, that routine. I'm an addict. So it's funny because we always talk about think about like you have your weekend off and then you go into work, and there's this common thing that's said amongst employees and people is like, how was your weekend? I could have used more time off. Could have used another day. That's a pretty common thing to say if you're in the workforce is, I could have used one more day. Even when I was having 3 days off, right? It's like, I could use one more day. Give me 4 days off. Give me 5 days off. Well, now I'm in that spot, right? Like, I got time off. I can only deal with it for so long, right? Like, so I'm 6 days in, right? This morning was kind of feeling it a little bit after I dropped T off at school and came home, right? Got on the couch, was texting and had my cup of coffee and, making phone calls and I'm going like, okay, like, because this can go two ways, right? Like, I could just spend all day on the couch watching TV, but I also knew like, hey, I need to get in, I need to record because I'll talk to you guys here in a minute about kind of like what the plans are moving forward, because I do have plans. Yeah, I'm going to start the state job in January, but there's some other plans too. So, and an addict outside of structure and routine can often be like very tricky for me anyway. I thrive in structure and routine, and so now basically like I don't have that. I don't have structure. I don't have routine. I kind of got to make that for myself a little bit, and I'm not great, right? However, too, right, let's take in the spiritual awakening. Let's take in this behavior change is like, okay, I think I'm pretty well suited, right? After being in recovery for almost 5 years, I'm grateful that this happened now and not a year ago, 2 years ago, like that would have been devastating. Who knows where I'd be, probably acting out a whole bunch. Who knows, right? But like, I'm grateful because like I don't have those urges. And two, okay, so let me try to make this structure for myself here. Let me try to like stick to a routine. So like I know for me, like in the mornings, like going out to the park and getting a run or a walk in, right? I did that the last 2 mornings. Got up, went and ran and / walked. I'm just getting my steps in, getting my exercise in. Like, okay, cool. So now I'm here, right? I'm like, today I need to record. I got to gather some numbers for the podcast and put together kind of like a presentation, because last week before I got let go, I thought to myself like, okay, so it's looking like, so after Monday, right, I had some things to really think about. One of those things that I thought about was, okay, so it's looking like I'm only going to have one part-time job, right? It's looking like I'm probably not going to work both jobs, right? And I shared with you guys on the podcast last week, what do I really want to do? What I really want to do is pick one of the part-time jobs and then work on the podcast. That was like, hey, this is what I want to do. If I have the decision, well, now God helped me make that decision, right? So now the focus is, okay, I got this podcast, man. I got this amazing, beautiful platform that I have created for myself. I have built this thing, right? I've used it to help other people. I believe in this thing. I full-heartedly believe, since day one of doing the podcast, I believe that the podcast is here to stay. And like, coaching business, yeah, I'd like to get some clients. That'd be nice. However, podcast like that, man, the podcast like this, this, I believe it's what's going to take me to the next level in my life. I truly do. I truly, truly do. So, I knew, okay, so 2026 is, I'm really going to push. I want to build this thing, and I need your help. If you're listening, like, I need your help in this. If you believe in me, if you've been listening to me, like, first off, thank you. It means a lot to me. And guys, I need help. I need help with this thing. Share it, like it, subscribe. Help me. Help me do this so that I can continue to put out this stuff and do more and more and really push it. Because again, guys, I believe in the message, right? And that's what this thing is about. It's about the message. It's not about Alex. It's about the message. And I believe in the message. Clearly, God has given me a gift of spreading the message, right? I'm just a vessel. It's not about me. And so part of that, right, is that I got BAI, this sponsor, man, this beautiful, amazing relationship that I have with them. And I said, you know what? I haven't really touched base with Ed. Ed Tilton is their president over BAI. I've had him on the show. I'm probably going to have him on the show sooner coming up because we actually want to talk about AI and what AI is doing with sexual addictions, relationships, dating these days, and just how kind of dangerous it is. So I thought, okay, I need to talk to Ed. I need to talk to Ed. I need to see if, hey, give me one more year, guys. Give me 1 year, at least one more year with the sponsorship. Let's I need the backing. Well, I need the financial support too, right? Yes, I need that because that's going to help me, right? That's going in. I'm factoring that into like the money that comes in a month. Because I got bills and a partner that was relying on me to provide something. And so I thought, okay, I need to have a conversation with him. I'm going to schedule that this week. And so, it was really interesting. So Tuesday morning I get to work and I immediately go in and schedule a time to talk with Ed. And we had it scheduled for 3:00 Tuesday afternoon, last Tuesday. And so then obviously everything went down. And everything went down. I got let go. But I knew I had this phone call with Ed at 3:00. And we jump on the phone, and I told him, I said, look, man, I got fired today. Now, it was really interesting because I really debated, I debated talking about that with him, bringing that up. It comes down to the managing others' perception of me is that, like, I don't want to, man, if I tell him I'm fired, right, he may they may not want to work with me anymore, right? But I have to remember, right, God's involved, and also too, like, the person that I am. I have to remember that I'm a good person. And this whole, being fired, being let go, right? Like, again, it was God. Again, I'll own that I could have gone about the situation a little differently. However, I don't believe the decision that I made was wrong. And again, I still stick by that. I'll will gladly tell anybody the story. I'm just not really going to go into it here. But so anyway, so I called Ed and I are talking, and I said, hey man, look, I want you guys to be a part of this. I'm really going to go big. And he said, well, Alex, here's the deal, man. Like, let's have some more conversations. But he said also, man, we're aligned with some other partners. And you know what? I'd like to pitch you to them. Maybe we can get some more sponsorships coming in for you. And I said, man, that would be awesome. So okay, so Alex, this is what I need from you. I need some numbers. Give me some numbers. Okay, no problem. So that's one of the things that I want to work on today is like get the numbers, get them in a nice tight little package and send them off to him. And so here's the other thing too is like, here's where the fear comes into play, right? Yeah, man, I've been doing this. This is my 106th episode. We've got a ton of views. We're pushing over 100,000 views on all platforms. All platforms we're pushing. We're over 100,000. Now those views are not as high. The numbers aren't as high as they could be at this point because I kind of fell off on the posting, right? I was keeping up with the content and putting episodes out, but haven't been posting on social media. Now that's going to change. That's really changing with this because now I've got the time, I've got the capacity, I've got the mental, the emotional capacity. So like, okay, hey, part of my work and part of my job working for myself on this podcast is posting content, getting guests, all these different things, which I've actually got a guest coming on later this week. I don't know when that episode is going to drop, but she's coming on. She runs the partner intensive. It's any partner of a sex addict that BAI does. You don't have to be an alumni to do it. It's just any partner, any betrayed partner. So got her coming on later this week. So I'm really excited about that. Again, this opens me up to, so cool, man, right? So one door shut, right, on Tuesday, right? One door shut. And then, I had this really good conversation with Ed. And, it looks like there's some opportunities going to be, there's a couple doors are going to open, and I don't know where they go. But again, right, the fear, that's where I was at. The fear, man, I don't have enough numbers to justify people giving me money. Now, do I believe that we can get there? Yes, I do believe that I can get there. So like, how do I sell? I'm not a great salesman, but like, how do I sell people on this? And maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on the money because of where I'm at right now, right? Maybe. I also believe that with more of the income coming in, I can market differently. Because everything that I've done up to this point has been word of mouth, right? It's been my listeners, man, my loyal listeners of passing along these episodes, and so that's where, again, like guys, I need your help. I need your help here, right? Like we can show up, we can ask for help. Hey, what do I need? Well, what I need, guys, is I need you guys spreading the message of this, spreading the No Lions Here message. And again, I don't ever want to be this guy that's, constantly looking at the views and the subscriptions and the followers. Like, I gotta remember that, like, God's involved here. And then again, I'm just a vessel, man. And I'm grateful to be the vessel, and I'm grateful for that. So, again, it's like, all right, cool, man. It looks like some things are on the horizon. Now it's going to take some work from me. But I'm grateful that I have kind of a direction. Again, right? My next direction is do the podcast. And then also, too, all right, I need to gather my numbers. I need to put together a presentation, a nice little package of like, hey, this is where we're at. This is where we're at, and this is where I'd like to be by the end of next year. Because, again, right, 2026, I'm really pushing things hard on the podcast. And, again, I need y'all's help. I need you by just sharing it, by liking it, subscribing, not only to Spotify, but also YouTube. So yeah, and this, I don't like that, right? I don't like being like, I need your help. I need, I don't like that. I feel like I'm begging. I'm not. Right? But that's what it feels like to me. And it's okay for me to ask for help, right? I'm kind of talking to you in this in real time, is like, it's okay for me to ask for help. And that's what I'm doing here, is I'm asking for help. And I know that you guys will be there to help me, and that the people around me are there to help me. So I'm excited. I'm scared, right? There's a lot that's kind of up in the air right now. First and foremost, I just hope that the microphone picks this episode up, so that I'm not like, my computer doesn't, get it all just like that last episode. I want to get it right this episode. I don't like, so the background, right, babe? I apologize. I'm sorry. The background will get cleaner, right? But again, that doesn't matter, right? Like, in the grand scheme of things, and I got to tell myself that, because I spent, I don't know, 45 minutes this morning trying to like get this set up right, and like, oh man, the lighting, and I got a window right here, and the light was coming in. It was whitewashing my face, and so now I got to get a sheet, and like, I'm trying to pick up the background, and you know what? Like, it's all good, man. Like, I got to remember, because I have the data, that God is involved here. God's involved, man, and I'm grateful that I even have the ability to record this right now. I'm just super grateful, right? Like, I have the equipment. I'm grateful for the listeners. I'm grateful for the platform that I've built. Because, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I'm done. I'd really like to get to a point where, like, I'm not working for somebody, and then I'm working for myself and just doing what I love to do, and that is, man, spread the message, man. I just want to spread the message, and hope and help and healing are out there. And if you've been listening to me for this long, it's true. And yeah, I'm just really, really grateful, guys. I'm super, super grateful for everybody, and all of my listeners, man, and just where we're going to go, and just hey, to the moon, right? Like brick by brick, like to the moon, one brick at a time. Like, let's go. Let's see where we can take this thing. Let's see. Let's see where we can take it, man. The sky's the limit. I'm excited. I'm scared, and right, like I know that like I'm backed by so many people, and I've got so much love and so much support, man. And that was the other thing about getting fired too, is like, man, I had so many people reaching out to me, like you people that currently still work there, reaching out to me, telling me how loved and supported I was, which felt really, really good. It felt really, really good, you know, to know that like you're loved and supported, right, and you're seen and you're heard. Not everybody's going to see and hear you, man, the way that you need to. And people are going to disagree with how you go about life. People are going to downplay what you bring to the table. People aren't going to see you for who you really are. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay, right? Because that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like I give people my power, and people don't deserve it. People don't deserve. Sometimes they don't deserve what I bring to the table, and that's okay. And again, I pray for these people though, right? Like, it's funny, man. Like I found myself within this last week, like praying hard for the people that I didn't want to pray for. I didn't want to. I didn't want to pray for them. I wanted to be bitter. I wanted to be hurt. I wanted to sit in that. You know, I wanted to lash out. I wanted to hurt because I was hurting. And I said, you know what? That's not who I am. That's not how I want to approach this situation. I want to approach this situation with love and compassion for myself. First and foremost, I deserve the grace and compassion that I have to give. I don't got to give these other people that. I'm gonna give them up to God, because God will deal with them. I have to have faith in that. And again, not in any kind of like malicious type of way. It's not. I don't wish that upon anybody. I don't wish hurt and pain on people. That's not. We'll all have our days of judgment, though. I do believe that. But again, I'm gonna give those people up to God and let God do with them what He wants to, what He sees fit. That's not my job. That's not what I'm here to do. Right. I'm here to talk about me, and just share my journey with you guys. And I'm just so grateful for the platform and that I get to do this for you guys, man. It feels really good. You know, I got a run in. I got this episode in. I think it's time I'm gonna go make lunch. Unemployed lunch is kind of be hitting. I got time. I gotta be careful with the jokes though, man. Like I keep making these jokes. It was funny. I said that to a buddy of mine. And I'm like, yeah, unemployed naps, man, they feel good. And he was like, stop sulking. And I was like, I'm not sulking. I'm just making jokes. But I don't. Anyway, guys, so be on the lookout, guys, because again, there's going to be more stuff dropping. Really, really excited for you guys to be along with the journey, man. So thank you so much to all my day ones, and thank you so much to everybody that's been here with me throughout this ride. Like, I really appreciate it. And as always, guys, like if there's any topics that you want to hear me discuss or you want to connect, right, please feel free to reach out. It's no lion. Again, that's no lions here at gmail.com. Go ahead and reach out, man. I love hearing from people. Again, coaching business is open, right? I've got slots. I've got some things available. If you're interested in some private coaching, definitely hit me up. Let me know that information. Again, in the description, my email. So go ahead and reach out, guys. And again, please like and subscribe, share the message, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It means so much to me, guys. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. As always, keep coming back. It works if you work it, and you're worth it. We'll see you guys next time.